Men's Grooming Center is a proud sponsor of Ranger football. It's a classic American barber shop updated for the modern man. Roosters Men's Grooming Center, located on 1431 across the street from the 1890 Ranch Shopping Center, next to the Tower Car Wash. It's not just a barber shop, it's a men's grooming center. The atmosphere is amazing. Brand new, clean, big screen TVs, oversized leather barber chairs, and relax. We'll bring you a cold beverage of your choice. Mike and his team of experienced stylists love and are proud of what they do, and they will take care of you. Roosters Men's Grooming Center, located on 1431 across the street from the 1890 Ranch Shopping Center. Check them out, Roosters Men's Grooming Center. Walk-ins are always welcome, but you can always make an appointment. Call Roosters Men's Grooming Center, 512-528-0520. That's 512-528-0520. 0520. Roosters Men's Grooming Center.
Hey guys, I'm Gage. Welcome to the Coach Vincent Show here at Roosters Men's Grooming Center off 1431. We'd like to start off this week's episode with our Players of the Week and our hard hats.
Players of the Week this week. Offensive linemen were Trey Widener. Offensive back, Matt Snow. Our receiver of the week was Delonte Singleton, and our offensive MVP was Delonte Singleton. Defensive back of the week was Alex Quintero. And we gave our defensive lineman of the week to Steven Alexander, Ryan Ritchie, Jay Mobley, London Bean, and Taylor Creighton. Gave it to all those guys. They did a great job up front. Linebacker of the week was Brett Burrington and Jake Hicks. And our defensive most valuable player was Micah Thomas. Special Forces most valuable player was Daquan Patton and J.D. Hill. And the Hammer Award this week went to Jake Hicks, Alex Quintero, and the RBI goes to Jake Hicks.
And every week we like to talk about our hard hats, these guys who go absolutely the utmost effort they can give during practice. This week it went to Kyle Armstrong, Justin Hebert, Carlos Ralda, Brennan Eggers, Nick Miller, Jacob Pryor, Garrett Clark, Gannon Ricewig, Noah Garza, Bailey Jones, and Parker McCune. And those guys, they really put forth the most effort out of anybody on our team. Those guys are fantastic. And if you guys get a chance to go see them on Thursday night, please do. With that, we'd like to start off our show. Last week during the Cedar Park game, it didn't go the way we wanted, but the team definitely played the hardest ever. And that was truly amazing. What are some things you said to your players?
Well, I was really pleased with their effort. We challenged them all week to play just as hard as they possibly could. And to believe that they were going to win the game. And I'll tell you, they believed they were going to win the game right down to the very end. They were fighting as hard as they possibly could. And when we looked at the tape on Saturday morning, we couldn't be prouder of just how hard our guys played.
And, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, you could see it even from the stands that it was crazy in the stands, on the sideline. It was definitely a big game and in Vista Ridge, Texas. And with that, we'd like to move on to our Rouse talk. Rouse offense, they're pretty skilled in the outside receiver position as well as their offensive line. They've got some pretty big guys up front. What are some things you talk to with your players?
Well, they're big up front, and it's going to be really important that we kind of come in and do what we did this last week. The second week in a row, we faced an opponent that's real big up front, bigger than us, and so our defensive line has really got to work on leverage. We've got to really work at trying to make, force Rouse's offensive line into double teams so that our linebackers can run. You're right. They're skilled at quarterback position. They're skilled at tailback position and the receiver positions. We've got to do really well at making sure that we know what they're trying to do with their quarterback run game and with their option stuff also. They're a team that can attack you on the perimeter. They're a team that can attack you inside, and they can be real physical at times too. So that can present some problems if you don't defend the entire field, and that's what we've got to do against Rouse.
And defensively, they may not have the one or two amazing standouts, but their whole defense overall is pretty sound. They've held a lot of really good teams to a few points. What are some things for our offense?
Yeah, they did. They really they replaced those guys that graduated last year with some really good players, some fantastic players. Our offense, we've got to stay on blocks. They've got a defensive line that runs really well, fairly big guys. They run our defense, so our offense is used to seeing our defense. So I think with us being so familiar and blocking that scheme in spring and year round, I think that'll help our offense. They're skilled in the back end, so we got to make sure that we get blocks on. If we want to get really big gains, we've got to make sure that we do a good job of blocking their defensive backs and their outside backers on the edge. One of the things that stands out to me is their linebacker play, and I think it's important that we keep them off balance with what we do, mixing it up between our passing game and our option game and our downhill running game, and then our stretch game. I think it's important that we do a good job of mixing that up, try to keep those linebackers guessing on what we're going to be doing.
And with this being the tail end of the season, coming up on our last game, what are some things you've told your players about finishing strong? I know it's very important in Vista Ridge, Texas.
Well, we spend a lot of time in the off season talking about finishing. With everything we do, whether it's the weight room, whether it's the mat room, whether it's our running stations, the things that we do in off season, we always finish most of those things with a fourth quarter chant. Every drill we do in our off season, every drill we do throughout the week has a finish, has a cone as a finish, has some type of finish, just to train everybody year round that we finish. I asked our players this week, you find out a lot about your players when in these type of situations. What kind of young man are you going to be? Are you going to be a guy that finishes? Because down the road, I tell our players all the time, football's a short part of your life. But how you become a man and how you grow as a man down the road, how you handle adversity down the road, are you going to be a finisher? Are you going to be a guy that makes excuses or stops? And I think right now we've got a great senior class that doesn't make excuses, that's ready to go to work and finish this season.
And what are some things we have to look forward to this week other than the varsity game on Friday?
Well, the biggest deal is our game. We have a pretty normal schedule. Thursday night, we've got a full slate of games. Assuming that us and Rouse can keep all our younger players healthy throughout the week, we'll have 2 freshman games and 2 JV games. The 2 freshman games will be over at Rouse. The 2 JV games will be at Vista Ridge, and those games are our normal 5:30, 7 o'clock starts. And then the big game over at Bible Stadium on Friday night for the Rangers.
And it's definitely a big week for us in Vista Ridge, Texas. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Gage. Goodbye.
I'm Kelsey.
I'm Brittany.
I'm Melissa.
And you're at Rooster's Men's Grooming Center.
Go Rangers!